English for Hospitality is the English you need for 5-star service. It's a pre-intermediate course with 3 modules: reception, restaurant and bar, room service and housekeeping. And each course level includes 45 hours of interactive content, 12 units with over 190 screens, student workbook, and a sample teacher guide.
Welcome to English for Hospitality, an online English course for pre-intermediate learners working in the hotel industry. This course equips learners with the language skills they need to communicate effectively with guests at reception, in the restaurant and bar, and while working on room service and housekeeping. Each unit includes relevant vocabulary and functional language taught through a guided discovery approach. Learners watch or listen to authentic situations, and every unit builds towards them, taking part in similar situational dialogues. Let's take a look at a unit in the reception section, focusing on guest requests. Each unit starts with an introductory section that gets learners thinking about a situation and spoken exchanges they may recognize from their own working lives. Here, learners answer questions about their own experiences and put related ideas into groups. This draws on their knowledge and professional background, introduces some of the language needed, and personalizes the topic. One feature here is that learners can jump ahead to the next idea using the skip button. This means learners can avoid getting stuck on items they are not sure about. The next section uses video or audio to present a model of real workplace interaction in a recognizable situation, which learners can work towards producing themselves.
I can change those for you. There's a small commission fee. Is that okay?
That's fine.
How much would you like to change?
It's $200.
This also develops listening comprehension skills and provides a memorable context for the vocabulary and functional language to come. A useful feature for learners here is the syncing transcript. This gives learners control of the listening, allowing them to read, rewind, and replay the parts they find challenging. This video and syncing transcript is revisited later in the unit, where learners can practice listening and reading along. The interactive summary page provides a textual version of the conversation learners have just seen. The text is analysed both for overall structure and for specific linguistic features. This stage helps learners see the patterns in the conversations, introduces the language to be studied, and provides them with a detailed, systematic reference. The language section presents vocabulary and functional language for dealing effectively with guest requests. Here we see a vocabulary focus, where learners complete a mind map. Learners are engaged in deeper learning by being involved in the process and by discovering gaps in their knowledge for themselves. A range of puzzles, games, and matching activities provide practice and consolidate the vocabulary and functional language, such as in this crossword. The variety of practice activities engages learners and sustains a high level of interest and motivation. These kinds of activities are auto-correcting and often give learners useful hints or additional information. Staggering the learning process in this way allows learners to focus in on problematic areas and prevents the feeling of being overwhelmed. Pronunciation is also a key aspect of the language study, supporting the course's overall focus on spoken language.
Recommend things to see.
Pronunciation activities cover areas of pronunciation relevant to the language in the unit, such as intonation, stress, linking, and individual sounds.
Make a booking.
One example is where learners match stress patterns to useful phrases. Learners benefit from seeing pronunciation represented visually, with models for individual words and phrases. This allows them to listen and copy as much or little as needed, and focus in on the highlighted patterns shown in the diagrams. In the last section of the unit, learners make the progression to complete guest conversations by practicing longer exchanges. First, they work with a series of dialogues and look more closely at the individual building blocks of the exchange. Then they practice participating in a range of dialogues themselves. The benefit of this approach is that learners are exposed to a range of other model texts, and the key phrases they can use themselves are embedded in these longer exchanges. Finally, learners produce parts of the conversations themselves. They practice speaking skills by responding to questions and expanding prompts. This builds spoken confidence in a safe and low-risk environment, using a range of relevant situations. These unique reversible cards allow learners to formulate a complete response first, before turning to the other side when they are ready to compare to the model. This gives them independence, and they can also move forwards and backwards through the different cards to repeat, skip, and review. Some units have an optional extension to the unit, where learners can choose to look at a more challenging situation. This is geared towards stronger learners who would benefit from the extra challenge. They can watch a video of the situation, go through the different stages of the dialogue, looking at finer points of meaning, then try responding to the more challenging situation themselves. This gives learners confidence to deal with unexpected guest reactions and strategies and language for dealing with these. As elsewhere in the course, learners benefit from a clear model to copy, learner-centered analysis of language, and practicing speaking themselves in a supportive environment.